And I'm sharing my screen. So first of all, let me start from thanking all of you for making beta release happen. Because during this week, actually at the beginning of this week, the 19th of June, we managed to release the first beta version of MSI. And MSI now is live, and merchants can install it via Composer. So we compose the Composer package, and now MSI first beta version could be installed on top of alpha, a version of Magento 2.3. And merchant can install just to play around with the product or and see what the functionality already ready. The first beta version of MSI contains the feature complete version of the minimal viable product, and here you already can make all the basic functionality for management sources, stocks, placing orders and processing orders, supporting the multi-source inventory. And that's a pretty big step for us, and this pretty big step for the whole Magento 2.3 release, because as you know, MSI is supposed to be the biggest feature of this major release of Magento 2 platform. And so congratulations, guys. Today we had a contribution day in Magento Kyiv office, and in the scope of this contribution day, it was pretty fruitful day for us. We've been given 11 more pull requests. Actually, these pull requests contain mostly bug fixes and open issues and some broken tests, which we currently have on MSI or in core. And so today we will demonstrate you the results of this contribution day, and the authors of this contribution will make the presentation by themselves, and will show what exactly fixes they made, what exactly functionality they going to deliver into MSI, and actually you will see it by yourself. So the first one gonna be Slava, who will show you some fixes in a functionality we've done for stock item configuration applicable for default stock. Slava, are you ready to make a presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay, I will share my screen. Hi everybody, today I will show you PR number 1353 about fixing stock item configuration. We had such an issue that after order was created and for this order was invoiced, if you remove this product from the system, you still have to be able to create shipment for this order. So I will start from creating product. And I will do it on default source. So I assign it to default source with some quantity. Now we go to front end. Yeah, here we are. Our product is present. Add it to cart, proceed to checkout. Here we are, we placed our order. And go back to admin, to this orders, and I open my order. With our product, I make an invoice for it. And after our order is invoiced, I go to the product grid and deleting our simple product 44. Here we are, our product is deleted. I go back to our order and try to make shipment for this order. Here we are, sim 44, quantity 1. The shipment has been created. It's the same way it's worked for custom stock as well. I think it no need to show it the same, but I just check it and it's worked properly.
Okay.
I think that's all from me. Thank you for attention.
Thank you. And just to make it clear, we had an issue because currently we are not storing own data for the stock item configuration, but instead we are reusing the data from our legacy table, catalog inventory stock item, and we stuck with an issue on a default stock when the product was removed. So before that, we did not have this issue for custom stock, but had it with default one. And Slava just demonstrated that we don't have this issue anymore. Thank you. That was a fix from Sergey. And thank you very much, Sergey, who is, as usual, shy by himself to make a presentation by his own. The next one gonna be Tomasz. Tomasz, are you ready to make a presentation, or would you like to take some more time for preparation?
Yes, I'm ready. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So I just installed Magento. Let's check that it's working and that we can see the grid, that nothing is broken. While it's logging in, let's see the description of pull request. This pull request should fix the problem while we assign the stock to the non-existent website, and as a result, we have no such entity exception on the manage stock page. So first of all, we are going to see that after this fix, we have a stocks grid. As we see grid opens, so let's go to the bug description and do everything that was described here. So as a precondition, we have to create a website, store, and store view. Let's do it. So we have some problems with this. Actually, we had some problems during installation, so we think that this PR should be there is some job you should do to make this PR fully workable.
Okay, so looks like we need to revalidate this PR and see what the issue we currently have with the PR.
Yes, so that's all from my side.
Okay.
Sorry, it was unexpected for me too.
Okay. No worries. So, Stepan, are you ready?
Yep.
So feel free to share your screen.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I'll show you a little bit what was done today and a little bit what was done by my friend Alex Silenka. Okay, first is about low stock notification. So during the creation of new product, when we enabled cache, yep, when we just create the product and assign source, so the precondition was to create the custom stock and custom source. So during the assigning source to the product, we expected after this pull request that notified quantity use default is checked. So it was all about this pull request. So I just added some configuration to the XML and and a little bit adjusted JavaScript. So I don't need it should be shown. It's so small code. So the next is the Alex pull request. It's about creating new product, and it's related to if we don't use managing stock. So let's try adding the product. So let's fill some required fields like test, price, rate, category, and we need to hit advanced inventory and set manage stock to no. Done. Save. And we can see as expected result in the grid that if we don't manage stock, so oops. Again. Can't believe this. Wait a second. Maybe it's another branch. No. Right branch.
We can do this one now.
I'm really sorry. We will check with Alex why. So.
No worries, no worries. We can skip this for now.
Check one more time. Yep. No. Okay, we will check until the next demo. That's all from my side. Igor?
Yep. Thank you.
Только что ж работало.
You can Stepan, you can check, and if you'll find the fix during the demo, you can just step in one more time and try to show it. So no worries.
Okay, thanks.
The next one gonna be Vitaly Boyko, who will show his contribution this day. Vitaly.
Thank you, Igor. Good morning. Good day, everyone. So I'm gonna share my screen. Today I worked on preventing default source to be disabled, and let I go forward to the default source. By the way, this task was this task have very long history, and we all waiting when it's have to be done.
Can you clarify a bit? So the task is not allow disabling default source?
Yeah. Yep.
In single source mode or in multi-source?
Both of them.
And why? Okay, what's the reason you don't want to disable default source in multi-source mode?
Because currently we have some special meaning for the default source, and for us, at least for the first iteration, it's easier to just prevent disabling it at all. Because of the special meaning, and we use the configuration which is currently coupled to the default stock. That's why for us it's easier not allowed to disable it at all.
So as you can see, here we have switcher disabled, and we cannot switch it off. And I'm gonna show you also how it look on not default source. So.
Ideally, one small request, ideally if you have it, to at least add some comment under when it's disabled, why it is disabled, why you cannot disable default source.
Do you propose to add a tooltip, for example?
Yeah, a tooltip, at least something, like, or comment or tooltip why you cannot, like, yeah.
That definitely makes sense. It only looks like there is additional work for you in the scope of this ticket.
No problem. Okay. I will be glad to perform it.
So could you please open custom stock?
Yep. I believe I forgot to switch off the caching, the switch on. So I'm sorry for that.
We currently have a question from Ben in chat. That the question sounds like: is the disabling of the default source prevented through the API as well, or only via the UI? So we have this prevented both from API and from UI standpoint.
So probably this is pretty it from my side, because also I was working on other pull requests, but most of them was like static fixes, and there is nothing special to show. Thank you.
Thank you, Vitaly. Do we have any other update and demonstration on the side track?
Generally, we have a lot of technical pull requests related to fixing static tests, functional tests. So.
Yeah. So we currently will go to 11 pull requests, and most of them like fixing static as Valery already mentioned, and even functional. Yeah, mostly static. and I believe we will process them till the next demo. And
If they're not only static, but also we have some technical improvements like add the order condition to indexes. There are more from those.
do you already have this pull request? Okay. Also, just want to show you some update. We had a pretty interesting chat in MSI Slack channel today with Paul, and Paul is pretty interested to have an ability in MSI of the source reservation, because currently we have just a stock level reservation, and from Paul's perspective, actually he uses and we make the source deduction at the time of the shipment creation, but Paul uses the shipment just as a way to create a shipment document. So actually at this time he does not make a real shipment. That's why he would like to introduce a source reservation, so reservation on the level of sources, not on the stock, but on the level of sources. And doing this way, he kind of save the execution of the source selection algorithm, because for now it's not possible at all, because we always run the source selection algorithm on a fresh data, just to prevent any the data gonna stale, because potentially it could be synchronization with ERP, and at some point of time where we would not be able to fulfill the order anymore. That's why we always process on a fresh data. But introducing this reservation on the level of sources, it would be possible, let's say, to save the result of the source selection algorithm. And Paul, here you can see that Paul looked through the interfaces we currently have, and he found two interfaces. The first one was source deduction service, and the second one was process back item quantity to source. And the first one we use at the time of the order is placed, and we create a shipment. So in the scope of the shipment processing, we call the source deduction service. And the second one is used when we create a credit memo, and we are getting back product to source. And actually, Paul asked us, why do we have two different services for that, but not reuse the source deduction service, and just to provide a negative quantity? So use the same way as we already do with reservation, because as you know, we have both negative and positive reservation, and one we use for getting something from stock, and another we use when we are going back something to stock. So in this case, the source deduction service, I will show you in code, would be exactly the same as our reservation mechanism, and the source deduction request will represent kind of reservation. And in this case, if we will do this, we will have the only one API for incrementing or decrementing source quantities. And for example, Paul, who is going to implement the reservation on the level of the source item, will need to pluginize the only one interface. And here we had a chat about that. And in the scope of this, looks like we need to introduce dedicated module, because currently we have the interfaces for the source deduction service and the source deduction request interface, which currently belong to inventory shipping module. But probably if we will reuse the same interface for different operation like credit memo, RMA, we need to move this source deduction services into dedicated module. The name of this module probably gonna be inventory source deduction, as I mentioned here. And based on this, based on our thread, Paul provided his feedback right 5 minutes ago, and he just posted that that's exactly what he meant. And we already started to work on this issue. I created this issue, and Sergey took this issue and assigned it to himself and start processing it. So Paul also told that as soon as this model would be written by his purposes, he can contribute it to MSI, and so that we would have this functionality for MSI as well.
Could you clarify a bit? So the request is to add reservation on source level, right? On source item level, right?
Yep.
Would we keep stock level reservations in that case?
Yep, of course. Source item reservation actually needed if we, for example, would like to, let's say, we can estimate how many spare space we have in our warehouses, because some of the product could be already sold, but it's not shipped yet. But so it is really occupy a space. That's why we can't ask the supplier to provide us some more product, because our warehouse is loaded with the product we sold but not shipped yet.
But how would reservation work in this case?
You mean source level reservation?
Source level.
So we just need to think about the statuses, because source level reservation probably would be in different statuses as well, and they're supposed to change the statuses. But currently, what can be used?
I'm sorry, I think we're out of time. I suggest to discuss it on next public grooming.
Okay, cool. So we would have public grooming on Monday, and we'll discuss this question in the scope of this grooming.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other question, maybe proposition, etc.? If no, thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for your time, guys, and see you on Monday on a public grooming, where we will start to discuss the product backlog for milestone 2 of MSI, and we will start to list all the stories we have and making the prioritization of these stories. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anton, for your time. And thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys, who made all of this contribution in the scope of their contribution day in Kyiv. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.